been a while, but we are back with the Music Biz Club. My name is Ajani Griffith. I'm your host, and today we dropped an interview with Phil Good, a music educator and producer in Miami, Florida, who's worked with the big artists and big record labels. So check the interview out. This is the Music Biz Club. For everybody who's joining us today, this is the Music Biz Club. We're going live since we can't really do our events, and we got Phil Good in the building, our special guest.
Yes, sir. Greatly appreciate it. Nice to be here.
And thank you for joining us. This means so much to me and my team. So for everybody who's watching, why don't you tell the audience, the world, who you are?
All right. Appreciate everybody that's checking it out. Music Club. Luckily, I'm blessed now to be a teacher, professor, but also a music producer, music engineer, songwriter, artist, and just a blessed man of God. I do what I can to take everything that I've learned and now continue doing it, but also teaching a new generation how they can take some quick steps to get to where they want to be, but also hopefully giving them some tools, some integrity, some wisdom if they're willing to take it. Because I've made some mistakes. Sometimes you don't want people to make the same mistakes, or if they do, they're still encouraged, like, you know what, it wasn't just me. I wasn't the only one that didn't get paid by doing something.
Well, definitely. I think the most important thing is to actually get started.
Right.
And a lot of people do. I want to be a singer. I want to be A&R. I want to do this. I've been across the country. I've met thousands of people, and the ones who are really striving, it takes some struggle to get to from point A to point B. But the ones who are really striving are the ones who actually started. Who, I have a thought. I want to do this. I'm going to go after it. I'm going to learn the material. So, how did you get started?
I'll do the real quick story. My mom and dad got divorced when I was in the first grade. So I got into music because they were like, this grown folk business, you go over there and get out of our business. So I started playing keyboard and playing piano. And then one of my friends started beatboxing. I started beatboxing. Next thing you know, we got a rap group. And ever since then, I would go to the pawn shop, get little Casio keyboards. Another friend of mine would loan me his stereo, and we would, make tapes. And I figured out how to take apart the stereo and connect a microphone to one of the inputs. And so now he's beatboxing, I'm rapping. Then I just started producing for the whole neighborhood. End up starting my own rap group with some equipment that I had purchased. I worked at, I'm originally from Houston, and I worked at this place called Astroworld. All the money I made from that amusement park, I bought a keyboard. My mom was like, you gonna spend all your money? I'm like, on just a keyboard? And so we would sit and we would make beats. Didn't know that I would, years later get to work with some amazing people and learn a lot. So that's how I got started.
Right. So going through all those experiences and getting to that point to where you started being around big artists, being around big record labels, what is that one advice? Because you're an educator. What is that advice you would give to people who want to get into the business, or actually maybe they're working their way up, but what is that one advice to make sure that everything is straight in line and they don't drift off to doing something that they shouldn't do? What is that one key advice you would give them?
It's hard to sum up one thing. What I'm settling on is understand your gift and understand how your passion and your gift can give the world what it needs that it's lacking, or what it already has. It just doesn't have your perspective. Believe you me, there are a number of teachers, a number of professors that are as good and even better than myself. They don't have my perspective. They don't have my experiences. So when I teach, sometimes, my students are like, hey, why are you making us learn all the programs instead of just focusing on one? I said, because in my experience, as long as I've been producing, you had to learn Cakewalk, you had to learn Cubase, you had to learn Digital Performer, you had to learn Logic, you had to learn Pro Tools, you had to learn an MPC, you had to learn how to use a Roland. So if I just narrow you down to one, in my experiences, you might be a one-dimensional producer engineer. And they're like, okay, I may not agree with your perspective, but I'm glad you told me. So that one piece of advice is understand your passion, understand your gift, and how can you give it to someone else so that way they become better and you become better, even if somebody else is already doing it.
Right.
Your perspective is still so crucial, so crucial.
Well, I truly believe that having diverse perspectives or diverse information makes you a better producer or even a music business professional, because that perspective, you know how to act in certain situations, even though it might not be your expertise and that might not what you do on a regular basis. But I think that's really, really important because, this is a ruthless business. So you have to understand the perspectives business-wise and from the creator standpoint.
Let me add something to that one. It's something I like to say. In order to be a teacher, typically have to have a degree. In order to be a dentist, doctor, degree. Even if you want to be a beautician or a barber, you got to get a license. You can't even sell liquor without a license. To be in the music business, all you got to do is wake up. So you got everybody who may have a lot of knowledge about the business, and you have some people that have no knowledge about the business. And you need to be able to treat both people with respect, but also have some discernment. Because there's some people who know a lot about the business that mean you know well, mean you know good. There's some people that do. There's some people that don't know anything about the business that don't mean you anything well, but also there's some that don't know anything about the business that mean you well. So that's the ruthless part of it. You never know who you're dealing with, a CEO or dope man fresh.
So piggyback off those points, let's say I'm a person in the middle ground. I might not have the experience of a CEO, but I have some experience and I might not know everything. How do you leverage those things? Or maybe let's say I'm someone who's coming up and I meet all these different people, CEOs from, someone who's mid-level or someone who has, middle-level knowledge. How do you leverage that from my benefit, also giving value, because I think value is very important in the creative aspect and also the business aspect, but how do you leverage that to step on up your game and grow?
It all depends on what lane you're in or what lanes you're in. I'm older than 40. When I first started, I was a rapper, producer. Yeah. I didn't know much about engineering. If the beat sounded good, I was cool. I fell into engineering because everyone around me was better at making hip hop beats. And I do mean like Tribe Called Quest, Wu-Tang, Fushnikins, De La Soul, all of that stuff where they're chopping up good samples. I didn't have a library of good samples. So what I realized I could do with my friends, hey man, that sample you use, it has too many pops and clicks in it. Let me get it so I can, I can clean it up. Oh, your vocals, I don't think you are standing close enough to the mic, or y'all don't think, and they're like, what are you talking about? So it don't sound as good as the records that I'm hearing. They're like, man, you like the thorough dude. You come in and you try to make everything clean. I mean, your beats are, super clean, but you're not using the best samples. I'm like, yeah, so I don't have the best samples. Find out what you know, what you're good at, and start leveraging it with people around you. There are some people that will respect it. There are other people that will not. Continue learning you and who you are and how you can be of value to those around you. So if you're in music business, network. find out who do you want to manage? Do you want to do contracts? Do you want to leverage stars in a place where they can get into endorsements and or merchandising? Learn about that. If you're a music producer, what type of music producer? Are you a DJ producer, engineer producer, musician producer? Leverage your network. And I really like understanding who you are, because once you know who you are, other people, because they will throw darts or they even try to dissuade, hey, I need you to go over here, I need you to do this. I don't know if that aligns with my purpose. I don't know if that aligns with my goals. You know, that you can pray about. It might be a skill set that you can learn to do and then hook one of your friends up to do it so that way you don't have to.
Right.
Because I tell you, I don't like doing it, and that is trying to figure out all the perfect chords to play. I'll put down the basic thing and then hand it off to a musician like, hey man, here's my idea. Oh, you know what? You should do this. And I'm like, that's amazing. Can I pay you to do it now that I have the idea? Can we work together? So that's the thing.
So you're saying some very interesting things here. I think from my perspective, that is maybe the starting blocks or the foundations of building a team. And, you know, you've been around for, you know, 2 decades, you know, a little bit more than that. And like, what are the key components? If you're like a producer, what do you think are the key components to have on your team? Especially, I think maybe the times have really changed from back in the day, maybe 15 years ago to now, because, you know, the technology has changed, the type of productions have changed. What do you need on your team from your perspective?
Some things have changed. Many things have not. The core has not. And I used to argue this with my students in high school for the last 5 years, in college for the last 10, 15 years. But it all boils down to this. I don't care if you are Ike and Tina Turner. I don't care if you are Timbaland and Missy. I don't care if you are Zaytoven and, you know, Jeezy. I don't care who you are. Producer, find an artist. Or become an artist. Build music. Build those relationships. It may take you a while to find an artist. If you're an artist, find a producer, find an engineer. And you don't have to work with several, because each one of us are different. There's an artist that like, yeah, I like that beat, but it's a little too blue. And the producer like, what the hell are you talking about, blue? My keys aren't in blue. I don't know. There's gonna be another producer like, yeah, it's, you know, when you're talking to a producer, yeah, it's too blue. Yeah, it is. We need to yellow it up some. Now you all are speaking the same language by accident, and that chemistry will help you propel yourselves forward. You know, listen and watch to some interviews of DMX, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have, and Missy, you know, they will tell you some of the beats that are their most popular are the ones they did not want to do. Work with people, get it out, get those ideas out. I did a song on accident and ended up helping not only my career, another artist's career. Long story short, I met this young lady at a record label. She was singing to a beat that a producer had given her. The beat was slightly off key. And I wasn't sure if she couldn't sing or if it was the beat. So I pulled her to the side, like, yo, you know, you a singer, right? Yeah, I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter, but they got me writing to anything that they give me. I'm like, all right. You know, A, B, C, D, you know, sing that back. She's like, A, B, C, D. I was like, oh, okay, you can sing. You have to. Okay, cool. Let's give them a beat that will show them how good you are as a singer. She's like, all right. I said, I'll do it for free, no charge, because I want to produce an artist. So let's work together.
Right.
Long story short, I brought her to my studio. Instead of trying to do something new, I said, let's just remake Lovers and Friends to a girl version. She's like, okay, cool. She wrote something, her sister wrote something. We recorded it in 2 days, all with this cheap microphones, $200 inside of a Digi 002 system. Next thing you know, that song was across the country.
Oh yeah?
Me and her did the female version of Lovers and Friends. Asia, she's a great young lady. At the time, the label and other people weren't really interested in signing her. They're like, what'd you do this for? This don't make no sense. You know, we're not interested in her like that. We just want to do this. I'm like, yeah, I just wanted to prove to you that she can sing, I can produce. Give me a record deal, give her a record deal. Let's make something happen. While it didn't happen that way, she ended up continuing her career and making things happen. I moved back to Houston because I was living here at the time, moved back to Houston. People had heard the record that I had done and was like, oh, cool. You can work in our studio. We'll pay. Instead of me having to go through the whole intern process again, they hired me and like, yeah, we know you know what you're doing because we've heard your work. Did I get paid for it? No. Did I get recognition and did I get respect and did I build a relationship? Yes. Work, find someone, find people, and no one can deny work, good work, quality work.
Well, definitely. I think one thing that I've learned, you know, it's only been a decade, 10 years that I've been working through the music industry. But one thing that's very, very imperative, important is chemistry. And one of my mentors who used to work with Dave Matthews in Red Light for over a decade, for about 12 years, one thing he told me, he said, is that, you know, before I go into a deal with an artist, before I sign a management deal, the most important thing for me is to build that trust and have that chemistry, because not, like you just said, not everybody is going to have the same chemistry. We all have different personalities. Yeah. So translating that into the business side, like dealing with lawyers or dealing with publishing companies, like how should you approach, you know, those type of people? Because those are the people who go around the world, you know, they make the contacts, they get the sync licensing, and those people are very, very important. And I think not every artist, but I've come across a sizable amount of artists who downplay that and say, I don't need a publishing deal, I don't need to sign up with ASCAP. But you know, I think at the end of the day, you're just hurting your career. So for the people who want to know, who want to know that side of the business and who are serious about their career, growing their career, not just staying in one spot, how do you, you know, how important is the chemistry, and how do you approach people in the publishing world, and you know, the PROs, the managers, the lawyers? How do you approach people like that and establish chemistry with them?
There are multiple ways. On the grind level, go everywhere where there are industry nights, you know, clubs, parties, get to know people and have some work that they can hear, just something that you can present to them. On the more executive side, or medium, I go in the medium. Many of the executives are just a DM, an instant message away. And you never know how it goes. For example, I met Kevin Liles 10, 15 years ago. And I said, I am going to send him an email every week of 5 to 10 beats. Just because I don't know what's going to happen. But I wanted to continue to follow up on having met him. Did anything happen because of that? Hell to the no. But nonetheless, I don't know what he paid attention to and who he passed my stuff off to. But that work ethic kept me hungry. There was a record label that popped up here in Miami, and I said, you know what? I'm going to go there every Wednesday between this block and this block, and I'm going to either offer my service to mix, master, produce, write, engineer, in any capacity. Even if they want me to clean up the studios, I'll be there. while they were skeptical, they're like, who is this showing up, man? Do you know this dude? Do you know this dude? I showed up consistently. Next thing you know, I'm writing songs for, I forget his name. Point being, he worked with Mary J. and a lot of people, and he had me writing songs. And he's like, you know any singers? And I was like, none that I can call on the spot. He said, can you sing? I said, la, la, la. He said, yes, get in there. So now I'm singing female vocals for Mary J. and other people. He was like, if she likes it, I'm gonna shoot you a publishing deal and we'll walk through everything. And I'm like, but this wasn't my goal. This wasn't my plan. I came here to clean up and to maybe produce and engineer. I didn't think that I was going to be a songwriter and get a deal. Like I said, it's the work, it's the networking, and you take advantage of every opportunity you're given, even if you're not sure something will come out of it. When I first worked with Slip and Slide, it was a position of, hey, what do you need? And he said, I don't know. What can you do? And I told him I make beats and mix and master engineer. Don't need any of that. What else do you do? I said, anything that you need. 6 months later, I ran into an artist, and that artist was like, hey, I'm looking for a producer. And I'm like, I can produce. We developed a relationship. That artist ended up getting managed by another, person. And now that manager ended up working with Plies, ended up working with a lot of other people. And because of that relationship, that dude saw me work. Now, whenever I have an artist and a hot song, I can submit it to him, and he can get it to the labels. He can get it to the publishing companies. He can get it to, and that's the thing. You continue to work with people, and they will make room for you when they see fit. I'm gonna tell you one little quick story. I met this dude from DreamWorks back in the ASCAP Billboard days, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get songs into a movie. I'm like, hey man, I'm a producer. I'm such as, yeah, I heard of you. Feel good. I saw you walking around. Introduce. What you got for me? What do you want? I don't know till I hear it. I'm like, okay. So I let him hear some beats. I'm walking around with a CD player at the time. Don't like that one. Skip to the next. Don't like that one. Skip. Don't. I say, so what are you looking for? Don't know till I hear it. I was livid. I'm like, what's wrong with this dude? I know I'm showing him my fire, and he's not responding. I mean, I'm upset. I spent money to get in here. I'm not trying to fight nobody, but he's not giving me a proper vibe. Years later, I began to understand he's in the movie and the film business. Right. He's watched a lot of movies, and he kind of knows what he wants, but literally he told me, I don't know until I hear it. So had I kept playing songs for him and kept submitting songs to him, he would have probably said, hey, that beat that you sent me 2 months ago, yeah, I need that for this movie. Go ahead and track it out or make. But I didn't have the patience because I was too hungry right then. So that hopefully that runs the gamut of what it takes. Consistency, determination, sometimes feeling people's vibe, sometimes adjusting your vibe to a person that may not be able to describe what they want, but they know it when they hear it.
Right. Right. So yeah, exactly. I truly do believe, like, for example, I've done a couple music supervision projects, and we might come across a song that we might not like, or not necessarily like, but we might not need. But a project comes along a couple months later, and I'm like, this would fit well for that project, and then that's how we get a licensing deal sometimes. So and going back to the DMs, I think that's a very, very important topic, because before, to get to a CEO, you probably would have to make a phone call or send an email. Yeah. But nowadays we have social media, and a lot of these people, not all of them, but a lot of these people are putting themselves out for people to reach out to them. So just to give you an example, when I was out in LA, I was putting on an event like this, and I was looking for speakers, and there's this one company called West One, and they're a huge licensing. They're one of the largest independent licensing companies in the world, and I wanted to do an interview with the CEO, and the co-founder, one of the
Right.
co-founders. And I just reached out to him on Instagram, and he said yes. And
Wow.
we developed a relationship, and I was at ASCAP. I put on my own show, and he was there, and it's a beautiful thing. So the power of the DM. Not everybody is going to say yes. Not everybody's going to check their DMs, but one day, let's say you're sending a DM to Britney Spears, for example. She gets a lot of DMs, but maybe one day she might decide to check her DM, and she sees your message and responds, or they might be messaging or wanting to do business with somebody who regularly checks their DMs for that particular purpose. They might not get to every single message, but they are probably doing that actively, and they might come across your message and want to do business with you. So I think that's a great marketing tool. And talk about marketing social media, how important, or how has it changed from 10, 15, 20 years ago to now, and how important is it?
It's crucial to the industry and to the business and what we do. Me and my high school kids, and even in the school I'm in, it has a middle school component. They asked me, Mr. Jones, you got Instagram? I'm like, yeah. What you doing on Instagram? I'm a music production company. I got to have a presence. Snapchat, you on Snapchat? Yeah, what's your, no, you don't need my Snapchat. It's only on music and production. But the point is, yes, I have one. Then when TikTok came out, Triller, Dub Smash, all of them, Musical.ly, Vine, they're like, why do you jump on everything? Because this is where I'm gonna hopefully find the new artist, the new producer, the new up and coming manager and CEO of this record label. Twitter, when all of those came out. Now here's what began to happen. I couldn't manage it all. Number two, I had to gravitate to the platform that matched my personality and my social media, the people follow me. So YouTube, when I had that, I just could not consistently put up content that was not only musical, but also visually appealing. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna keep my presence here, but I'm mostly gonna focus on Instagram. Now, when I was an engineer, recording with, the Mike Joneses, the Yolanda Adams, the Manny Freshes, and all these people, I can't record and take a lot of pictures because I'm the behind the scenes person, and people don't necessarily want to do that, and they don't want to share that side. So you have to be more strategic.
Right.
Find out which social media platform fits your personality, fits your entity, fits your message, and work with that one, or find a team of people that can help manage it, with you, for you. And to piggyback on the whole networking and DMs and all that good stuff, I'm teaching a class, and I had made a song just for fun called Turnpike, and my students heard it at the college at Miami-Dade Kendall campus, and one of them was messaging their boss. Their boss, I didn't know, knew Michael Bay. He DM'd him and started talking to him about, hey, come by the studio, let's chat for a little while. My student ended up meeting Michael Bay and telling him about my song, and next thing you know, they were trying to get it in a Bad Boys 3, movie. So wow. You never know. Did it make it to the movie? No. Did it make it to the soundtrack? No. However, when it comes down to networking and DMing and messaging and communicate, I should have DM'd Khaled. I didn't know he was the music supervisor. But these are the things that you learn, and you figure out who the players are. In my music business class at the high school, I make all the kids find out who the senior VP is for A&R, who the senior VP A&R for Warner, Electra, all of them. They're like, I don't know this person. I'm like, yeah, but notice they only have 2,000, friends. Like, yeah, they should have more. I said, because not a lot of people research and find out who they are
Right.
and develop that relationship. Anyway.
Yeah, so well, I think that is absolutely true. You don't necessarily have to have a huge following because there are a lot of people. There's a lot of producers who have 50 million records and nobody knows who they are. But they might be on. A lot of them try to keep a low profile. But if you go on their social media and they see 2,000 people, they might have a relationship or know all the tastemakers or at least all the decision makers in, like, say, a Sony music
Yeah.
or just the music industry in general. So just to wrap this up, any any more advice or anything you have to say before we end this call to where this message, to where this video will go to all the people who will watch it? What's the last thing you would like to tell people in the world?
I'm gonna have to go back to what I am working on as far as my philosophy moving forward, which is know your gift. Like I was saying before, be accountable and responsible with your gift and your talents. So that way we all can tell our stories with authenticity. Now when I make songs, they have a purpose. It's good to turn up, party. We need that. Everybody in the club get I'm going back, all the way to the newer stuff now. But there are some movies, there are some films, there are music videos, there are songs that will touch people forever. Like, you are beautiful no matter what you say, words can. That song is always going to be impactful. We need more of that from many people. That's my last advice. Know who you are, know your gifts, be accountable and responsible for them. Help somebody else become your best and help somebody else become better. Become your best, help somebody else become better.
Well, that's perfect advice. I would like to thank you for doing this. And if you have your social media that you want anybody to follow you on, please tell us.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. It's been an honor. You can find me at PHILGOOD. That is Feel Good Productions on everything. So if you want to, hit me up on I was about to say MySpace, because that's when it first started, all the way up to, Instagram, TikTok. It is PHILGOOD, Feel Good Productions. My artist name now is Professor Jones. I have the song Turnpike by Professor Jones. It's on all platforms. I have a Christmas song. It's not Christmas yet, but I have that one out. And I'm working on 2 more songs right now. So we stay working, man. You love what you do and you do what you love.
Definitely. Thank you, man, so much for doing this. It's a pleasure.
Stay blessed. Y'all make it happen, man. Make it happen.
You too.